Welcome back, kids. Today I'm going to be making my first 3D project, and this is actually for a customer, so I'm getting paid, so it's got to be good. Thankfully, I've got a friend that's going to help me, and I'll tell you more about that in the video. For now, let me get back down here in my corner and I'll show you how I set this up in Aspire. All right, I'm in Aspire. I'm using version 12.506. I'm brand new to Aspire. I've got a lot to learn, and I'm learning with the help of Chris Pelletier. Y'all probably know him from most of the Facebook groups that are CNC related. He regularly posts his newest 3D designs and such. He's an expert at this. And when I got this job, the customer had already bought the file from a seller on Etsy, and I loaded it up in Aspire and really had no idea what I was doing. So I contacted Chris Pelletier, and he helped me get this thing set up, and make it workable and usable on, for this particular project. So Chris, I appreciate you for that. And just so y'all know, I'm going to be working with Chris this year. He's going to be teaching me Aspire, and in return, I'm going to help promote his 3D design. He is a expert 3D designer in Aspire. So y'all be sure and check his information in the description below. If you need any kind of 3D design work done, Chris is your guy. I promise you that. All right. So what we have here is it's a trophy plaque, and it's going to be used for a European deer mount. And if you don't know what that is, I'll have one here on the screen right now. And it's going to be made out of walnut. It's roughly 16 inches high, 13 inches wide. And let's look at my job setup over here. My material that I'm going to be using, straighten that up, is 15 and a quarter inches wide, 18 and an eighth inch tall. This is walnut, and 0.9 thickness. Be zeroing on the material surface. XY is bottom left. And that's all we need to discuss there. Click OK on that. And I'll let y'all know right now I'm using a 3-month preview that Vectric was kind enough to let me try out. And I'm trying to work out an affiliate deal with them. My hopes are I can get this done, and it'll save us some money, all of us, on future subscriptions through Vectric. I can't promise anything. The only thing I can promise is I am trying hard to make that happen, and hopefully it'll happen soon, and it'll benefit all of us. So y'all just keep your fingers crossed with me on that. All right, so let's look at the material setup over here. My material thickness is 0.9, which I've already said. 0 is the bottom left material surface, and model position in the material, the gap above the material is 0.1, and this is from Chris. He told me to use that, and what that does, it just starts your carve 0.1 deep below the Z. And what that does is just erases any imperfections that are in the workpiece. If it's not level, or has any kind of thing that's keeping it from being completely level, this should machine that out while it's doing this roughing pass. So let's see, Z, rapid Z gaps above material 0.2. Again, that number comes from Chris. I don't know, and I can't answer any questions about Aspire yet. But as the year goes on, I do plan and hope to learn Aspire to the point that I can help y'all and maybe teach y'all some things too. So, but right now I'm learning with y'all. So let's click OK here. It says I changed something, but I didn't. I don't know why it always does that. But anyway, it's recalculating. And these recalculations take a lot longer in Aspire than they do in VCarve Pro, because the file is much larger for a 3D file. Let's just go here and I'll reset that. Now let's look at the toolpaths. My roughing toolpaths, I'll be using the 1/4 inch IDC Woodcraft The Beast. Machining limit boundary will be selected vectors. Again, all of this comes from Chris. He helped me set this up during a Zoom call. All right, and the boundary offset is 0.5. And to be honest, I can't remember what that was. Chris told me, but I don't remember. The machining allowance was 0.04, and I do remember that. What that is the amount of material that the roughing pass is going to leave for the finishing pass to take care of. So once the roughing pass finishes, there'll be 0.04 material that the finishing pass, the finishing bit, will have to go through in order to do its job. Roughing strategy, Z level, raster angle is 0, and that's it for that. Now let's look at the 3D finish pass. Here, I started out using one of Chris's bits. He has his own line of router bits, and they are excellent. And I started out using that in my carve, but I dropped it during a tool change when I was running practice carves, test carves, and broke the tip. So I had to use what I had on hand, which was a Sky One tapered ball nose bit. I'll have that on the screen so you can see what that was. All right, so I'm using this bit. Machining limit boundary is selected vectors. Boundary offset is 0.1. And I'm using raster. And my safe Z is 0.2, which that was on the previous screen too. So let's just calculate that. All right. Now, you'll see during the carve that I added this text here. And this was kind of, I'm not going to say an afterthought, but the customer didn't mention me doing this until the plaque was basically already carved. And luckily, I still had it clamped up in the machine. I hadn't even taken it off yet when I got her message. And she wanted this information added there. This is her son's first deer that he killed this year. And she just wanted the plaque to recognize that. So this is the text file, or yeah, the text toolpath. It shows my start depth of 0.15. That's not actually correct. I just had to do that so it shows up here in this preview. What I actually did, since I had already carved the entire plaque, I just reset my Z on the plaque portion there of the walnut, and my start depth was 0, and I used a no flat depth. Used a 30-degree groovy genie. Just run it like a regular VCarve. So I calculate that. And then on the profile, which is the cutout, let's open that. Start depth 0. I did it in 4 passes. The cut depth, this is from Chris, was just set to Z. I didn't know that was a thing. So what that does, it just cuts to the bottom of the material and shouldn't go any further or go into your wasteboard. And I guess it worked. I don't know. I always have my work pieces elevated off the wasteboard, but anyway, that's how he sets his up. Machine vectors. Let's see. Yeah, the outside right, climb cut, offset allowance. I did a 0.03. And I do need to add tabs, but first let's add ramps, smooth, 1/2 inch distance. And here's something I had never used that Chris told me to do, were leads, and they are visible in the preview. And I'll show you that in a minute. But what that is, it just allows your bit to come in by using a circular lead. Your bit will come in kind of on an arc, and start cutting instead of coming in from the side and start cutting. And what happens a lot of times when your bit just comes straight in and starts cutting that profile, it'll leave a little indentation there in the edge of the wood. Well, this circular lead prevents that from happening because it's just coming in on an arc, and it just kind of curves right into there and takes off cutting that profile cut. And that radius was 2 inches, and that worked so well, and I'm so glad he taught me that. So I think that's it here. Calculate that. So now let's go back in here and we'll set those tabs. I'm just going to click on Add Tabs to Toolpath, Edit Tabs, and you can see I had 6 tabs, 2 up here, 1 on either side, and then 1 on the end of each one of those branches down here. So close that and save it. Calculate. Now I'm going to run each toolpath separately just so we can preview them and see what we're going to end up with here. So here's the roughing toolpath. Right there. I'll show it from the side a little bit so you can kind of see. And I'll just leave it there, and then we'll run the finishing toolpath. That is so cool. This took about 2.5 hours, by the way. Then the text, preview that. Short and sweet right there. And then the profile, which is the cutout, preview that. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to send this over to the Masso. We'll go over there, get that set up, and then we're fixing to carve this thing. All right, got my piece of walnut clamped down. Got my X, Y, and Z already set. All I have to do is go over here to the Masso. I'm in my F2. Go to work origin. This brings it up here to my X, Y. And then rewind, say a prayer, cycle start. Alright, that's all of the roughing pass. I'm loading up the finished toolpath over here. Very large file, so it takes it a minute. Total carve time is supposed to be around 2.5 hours. Vectric is saying 2 hours 20 minutes, but we'll see. If it can do it that fast, I'll be very happy. Alright, so that's loaded. So now I need to switch over to my Sky One tapered ball nose bit. So let me get that loaded up. Set that over to the side. Go to my F2. Rewind. Cycle start. Oh, I forgot to. I should have let the Masso prompt me to do that. So now I just now changed that bit, and what we got to do is hit cycle start. It's going to go over there, touch off on the tool setter, and measure that tool, and then it'll come back over here and do the finish carve. If you're enjoying my video, go ahead and hit that like button. That lets YouTube know that they need to start showing my videos to more CNCers just like you. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. That helps my channel more than you could ever know. cut this joker out. Got my toolpath already loaded up. First thing I'm gonna do is go to work origin just so I can double check, make sure my XY has not changed. I always prefer to start from the XY. So that looks great. Rewind, cycle start. Sweet. All right, now I gotta take it off, flip it over, and I'm gonna cut a keyhole slot in the back. And also I've got to add some text here in the shield. The customer texted me last night and asked me if I could add some information here. So I'm going to do that next. So that's a new and previously unplanned part of this project. So I'm going to carve that, then I'll flip it over, do the keyhole slot, and then cut loose the tabs. So I've got my text file sent over here and loaded up. I am going to do a air carve. I just set my Z 0.10 higher than it should be. So rewind, cycle start. I'm just looking at the alignment and the depth. Make sure I'm good. Yep. I think that's going to be just fine. Feed hole. Rewind. Go to work origin. I need to reset that Z, so let me do that. Go to my F3. Point 0.1 high there, so I'm just going to click the 0.1. Go down one bump. So that should be the correct Z. Rewind, cycle start. Yeah, that's going to look great. are interested in these clamps, I'll have the information in the description below and also on the screen right now. Man, that's pretty. I cannot believe I just made that. How cool is that? Alright, time to cut a keyhole slot in the back here. Spray a little Spar urethane on it. We'll call this joker done. Alright, I'm in Aspire. We're going to create this keyhole slot. Let's look at my job setup first. I've just created a rectangle here that's 1.35 inches by 0.375 inches. This is just the figure I always use because I make a 1-inch keyhole slot, and that's roughly the overall length of it, including the circle, the head for the keyhole bit. The height is 0.375 because the head of my white side 3050 keyhole slot bit is 3/8 of an inch, 0.375. And it's very important in this, like in this case, when you're just making a single keyhole slot, go ahead and set your XY in the center, and you'll see why here in a little bit. So click OK. And the first thing we need to do is create that 3/8 inch circle. So let's just go over here, click on the circle tool. I've already got 0.375 in mind. I'm just going to go right here and click it in there. Click cancel. I'm going to move it in a little bit just to the edge there. And then we go up to the gadgets, go to keyhole toolpath. And here are your parameters to set up your keyhole slot. I always use horizontal left to right. I do my depth of slot 0.35, length of slot 1 inch, entry hole diameter is 0.375, just like the circle we made over here. The slot diameter, which is the narrow part of the keyhole bit, is 0.1875, 3/16. And if I want to select my bit, just click there, go down here and find my bit, which is right there, the white side, select, and then click OK. And boom, there you go. So that's all there is to it, to creating this tool hole slot. All you got to do now, just go over here, save, call it what you want to save, call it, and save it, send it over to the Masso. So I'm going to do that. Now let's get back over on CNC and cut this thing. All right, so I've got it flipped over, clamped down. See if I can show you how I got this marked. Found my center line, which is right here. And you can barely see those pencil marks there, but there you go. Right there is where it's going to go. It's going to go in right there, go over, come back, and lift out of that same spot right there. And with it being the XY in the center, which is where I'm going to set this XY, I haven't did it yet, but that way I know exactly where this is going to be. If I had set the origin at the bottom left, well, bottom left of what? You know, I don't have anything to reference off of over here. Here I have a perfect reference. So let's do this. All right, we'll jog it over here. We'll set our X and Y and Z. Pretty close. Go to step mode. That's really close. Ooh, that is very close. Let me nudge it over just a hair. I'm going to call that perfect. So I'll go here, set my X and Y. Now we need to set the Z. I'm just going to leave it right there where it's at. I'm going to use the paper method to do it this time. Get my piece of real thin paper under there. Right there. Contact. Alright. Zero my Z. Well, let's cut it. F2. Rewind. Cycle start. There we go. Perfect keyhole slide. Awesome. We'll do a little light sanding on it, and then we're going to start putting the Spar urethane on there. I'm so pumped. Take a look at this bad boy. Get my arms long enough. There we go. I just cannot believe I made that. Alright, let's go clean it up and get it finished. These sanding brushes were recommended to me by Chris Pelletier. He said these are excellent for 3D carves because it's impossible to sand most 3D carves any other way. And I can tell you from experience with this one, it's worked out perfect. So I highly recommend these. They'll be available in my Amazon storefront, link in the description below. Man, I tell you one thing, it's been a long time since I've did anything this gratifying. I just cannot believe how this turned out. And it's really not that difficult. Once you get in here and start actually doing it, all of it kind of makes sense, just like everything else we do in VCarve Pro. Aspire is a little different, but anyway, it's just all about learning. You just learn new techniques and tools and go with it. So this is something that I'm excited to continue doing. Like I mentioned in my earlier video, 2026 is going to be all about expanding. I'm going to be doing a lot more 3D carves. I'm going to be doing VCarve inlays. I'll still be doing the signs and plaques like I've always done. That's what pays the bills for now. But this is so exciting, and it just got me pumped up and ready to, keep learning this thing. And like I said, I haven't heard anything from back from Vectric yet, but I'm certainly trying to get that deal, affiliate deal with them. And my goal is to save all of us the money on future subscriptions with Vectric. So I can't promise it's going to work out, but I promise you I am trying to get it done, though. And I'll keep y'all updated on that. So if you have any suggestions, like here's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm going to do a 3D carve of the month, kind of like what Ryan does over at Cutting It Close, something new every month that everybody can do. Well, since I'm working with Chris and he can supply these 3D models, I'm sure me and him can work out some kind of deal where we can like all do the same 3D carve every month, or you can do something different, just whatever. But the main thing is to practice it. It's like everything else. You're not going to be perfect at it the first time. You're going to have to learn, and there's a learning curve for sure with Aspire and with just the whole concept of 3D carving. But it's very doable. I promise you. If I can do it, you can do it. And so let's do that. This year, let's just make a commitment. We're going to learn to do this and VCarve inlays, and just kind of branch out and do new things. Keep this thing fresh and exciting, and hopefully it'll give, fresh new content for my channel here too. But I'm excited about this. Upcoming, I have a modification or an accessory that I'm adding to my Onefinity Elite. Y'all are going to want to see that. That should be coming up within the next week or two, somewhere in there. Real quick and simple thing. It's just I have to get time to do it. So anyway, I've got a couple of signs I got to make in the meantime, get those done. And then I'll get back on that accessory that I'm talking about. It's going to be cool, though. Y'all are going to love it. Most of you have already seen it, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm going to keep you in suspense. That way you might come back. If you need anything 3D-wise, contact Chris Pelletier. I'll have his contact information in the description below. You're looking for 3D files, or if you need a 3D file custom made, he's your guy. He can do it. He is an expert. So y'all add Chris to your list of YouTube people that you follow. I don't even think I mentioned that he does have a YouTube channel. He's got, I don't know, quite a few videos already. I'll have a link to that, of course, in the description below too. So until next time, y'all take care and keep on making that man glitter. I'll see you on the next video.